RISE London is a global platform bringing the entrepreneurs and innovators in fintech together and building the future of financial services. So here in London, we have a 7-story building in the heart of Shoreditch. So if you haven't been there, I urge you to come down and attend one of our events. And you can find out more by signing up to our newsletter or following us on Twitter. But I'm not going to be up here for long today, but we are going to meet 4 of our brilliant companies, and I'm going to welcome up Ben to the stage to take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Magda, and good afternoon to you all. My name is Benedict Nielsen. I'm one of the co-founders of Finbourne Technology Limited. Finbourne is a B2B enterprise software company. It was founded 18 months ago on the principle of making asset management work better. And asset management needs to work. 3/4 of the UK population have a relationship with an asset manager. In this room, it's probably nearer 100%, I would imagine. In 2025, PwC said there will be $145 trillion of assets under management. But asset management needs to change. With increasing regulation, increasing competition, but in a hugely growing market context, your asset manager needs better scale, needs better efficiency. But what they're really doing is spending far too much of your money on technology and operations. Now, what is it that Finbourne does? Finbourne simplifies complex problems. And here is a complex problem. When you give your £1 billion pension fund to your asset manager needs to do a number of operations on that money. It needs to model a portfolio, it needs to go into the market and buy and sell the securities. It needs to write down what it's just bought and sold on an investment book of record or simply a ledger. It needs to model it and stress test it. And finally, and this is really hard, they need to report back to you what's happened to your money. One way of doing that is a best-in-breed type solution. And so what an asset manager might well do is say, right, I will now hire a series of companies to sell me a modular piece of software that will do these individual items. I've listed here a few companies who do those things. There is a problem with a best-in-breed solution. What this actually entails is the creation of a huge IT department by your asset manager, who aren't necessarily IT guys. What it does, it creates a huge reconciliation and integration and upgrading problem and cost. And every single asset manager out there is doing the same thing again and again and again. Enormous duplication of effort, not just in London, but in Paris, in Frankfurt, and globally in that $145 trillion situation. So what do? We simplify it. We break this chain. We take out that investment book of records, the IBOR. We call it Lucid, that's the name of our product, Lucid. It is, if you know or care, a bitemporal event register. And then with Lucid, we encrust it with APIs. At a stroke, the asset management industry and the services and the custodians can now choose the modular solutions that they wish to use and plug them in, plug them out. Choose which data, turn data on, turn data off. Turn third-party vendors on, turn them off. This is more accurate, gives them more predictability. It gives you a better outcome for your retirement and your lifetime goals. Now, the current approach, something I find staggering. Approximate is good enough for the world's savings industry. When your asset manager comes to work at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, he's going to spend between 1 and 3 hours working out what he's got. He knows he's bought something yesterday, there was a corporate action overnight, FX said this, he did that, but was it booked properly? It takes a while to work out what he's got. He knows approximately what he's got. Amazingly, that's okay, that is legal. I cannot believe it will be okay going forward. It's certainly not okay for my family's savings. This, of course, is a huge waste of money, massive duplication of effort. There's no common industry standard, there's no common industry utility working for each other. And of course, this is your money. The Finbourne approach is different. It is an open model. We embrace third-party vendors to plug in if they so choose. We allow the customer the choice for the first time. We publish APIs with full documentation. We're working with the global industry developer community to engage and challenge us. We have a design council with some big names on it. And what this does, it allows asset managers to focus on their core competency, not on IT. Where is Finbourne in our route map? We're now just over 18 months old. There were 6 of us 18 months ago. There's now 25. We need to be 50 within 9 months. I've been told my time is up. I was going to say to give us a shout. I'm going to be quick here. We're disrupting the product, also disrupting the distribution of enterprise software. You can't buy our competitors' software today. Go and try it this afternoon. See if you can buy some of this stuff out there. You can't do it. Go onto our website, upload your portfolio, and play with our stuff. It's self-service, it's scalable. We're disrupting the way software is sold as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ben. I'm Matthew. I'm the founder of StepLadder, and StepLadder is here to help the first-time buyer get on the property ladder faster. Now, you may have seen us in the Sunday Times, First-Time Buyer Magazine, or even in Disrupt Property Tech blog. The key thing for us is to try and fix generation rent. This is affecting 1 in 10 people living in this country today. What we believe is that this is a recent phenomenon, and it's a catastrophic one. This has fundamentally been a phenomenon that's affected a generation of people, 25 to 34, who are increasingly looking at a chasm that they cannot cross. We believe that this has a real lifetime effect. 300,000 first-time buyers were able to get on the property ladder last year, and that number is half of what it should be. Where are the rest of those first-time buyers going? They're going into the rental market, facing higher and higher costs, even while wages are stagnant. On top of that, and crucially for us, we believe it has a real long-term cost. The time it takes you to get a deposit, which now is 3 times what it was just 15 years ago, has a real effect on your choice, on your long-term lifestyle, on your overall life cycle in terms of forming a household yourself and other investments you make for the longer term. And this piece of analysis illustrates for us very clearly that time has value for the first-time buyer. This compares properties available at the same price point 5 years apart, and we call it the coral reef bleaching slide. StepLadder is going to help the first-time buyer get on the property ladder faster, full stop. The solution is one that we know works, and let me take you through how it works. We create bespoke fit groups of people who are on the same journey. You save the same amount every month that you would on your own. But by putting you into a pool together, what we're able to do is pool money monthly that becomes the deposit for one member of your fixed group. And that's extremely powerful. It's extremely powerful because what it yields is cutting the average time it takes you to get your property deposit, the same fixed sum as the other members of your group, in half on average. But on top of that, 90% of our members in any particular group will get their deposit faster than they would saving alone. 90%. And finally, no member of our group would do worse than they would saving on their own. Seems almost too good to be true. The key is not just time, but community. We're harnessing a lot of the logic behind behavioral finance and the nudge philosophy of creating success through disciplined, structured saving. We're creating a community around people who are on the same journey. And we've seen that those sort of support groups are incredibly powerful. I was curious if anyone here has trained or run a marathon. One of the things that I found fascinating is to draw the analogy between those who are marathon runners training for their first marathon and their success rates versus those people who train alone versus joining a running club. And the same thing applies here. Not just in the analogy, but actually the National Bureau of Economic Research shows that for savings success to a goal, your rate is 3 times higher if you save in a group. And by the way, default rates are lower when you know who you borrowed from. Furthermore, the home buying process, the entire journey, is a notoriously opaque one. And we believe we can help disambiguate that process. We can start talking to you while you're in the saver stage of the journey, which, by the way, is about 4 to 6 years in the UK, whereas the time it takes to usually buy a house is measured in weeks or months. And during that journey, more informed consumers able to get group buying discounts and understanding what the entire transaction process is means better value for the membership, and it also helps clear a market asymmetry. And from our perspective, that's extremely powerful because both sides get a better deal, lenders and borrowers. We know it works. This is a worldwide phenomenon. It's just new to the UK. One of the places where I spent a great deal of time studying these and where they're a high street banking product is in Brazil, where 5 million Brazilians use this to finance everything from washer dryers and refrigerators all the way through to their homes. With the auto and motorbike market, it's north of 20 to 40% market share as a financing solution. And it's not just Brazil, it's worldwide. And we believe that it should be just as much a high street banking product here in the UK, and we're bringing it to market. We have now 2 circles live running with real customers. They've contributed over £100,000 into our circles, and most powerfully, we're just about to get our first members on the property ladder with keys in hand this month. We wouldn't be here without our team, and love to get in touch if you want to learn more. Thank you. Over to you, Derek.
Hi everyone, my name is Derek Stewart. I'm the founder and largest investor in PAYSME. Before I start, I'd quite like your help here. If anyone could put your hand up if you've either, in the last 12 months, taken a taxi, visited a market like Portobello Road or London Bridge, or attended a football match or rugby match at a stadium. So if you wouldn't mind, please, I'm just trying, it's hard for me to see with the light, but looking at it, it's probably like 90% of the people here in the audience have done one of those 3 things. Basically, that's what we do. So we connect people with small businesses that are in those sectors. So let me give you an example. So one of our products, our focus is on mobile payments and mobile commerce, and we're trying to help small businesses and helping them grow. One of the sectors we focus on is black cabs and licensed taxis. And this is what Cab App is, but I'm going to let my colleague Alex tell you in a video what she does and how we do it.
Working exclusively with licensed taxis, Cab App now has an extensive footprint in 90 locations across the UK and Ireland, including major cities from Inverness to Plymouth.
Okay, Nottingham, please. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Working with our regional brand ambassadors, over 11,500 drivers have now downloaded Cab App, and we're currently processing payments every 2 minutes of every day, creating strong recurring revenues.
So for any football fans out there, you probably recognise there was 2 World Cup winners, Ozzy Ardiles, Ricky Villa with Paul Miller. So effectively, Cab App, we've helped 11,500 drivers. We've processed 1 million transactions, and we pay these drivers every day. I actually had a message from a driver when I was backstage saying, have the payments gone already? We pay them so quickly, he's asked if we could pay him again today because he's got his mortgage to pay. So when I get off here, I'm going to go and pay that one driver. And that's just to give you an example of how much we care about our customers. You'll also notice the electric black cab. There's a massive sort of transition going on from diesel vehicles to electric vehicles. We're helping that transition with this amazing 6-seater glass-roofed electric cab, and I recommend you try one. The second industry that we're helping is market traders, street food traders, festival traders. So last Saturday, we were working with Portobello Road, which is the market in front of you there, and we were helping set up something called New Youthquake. New Youthquake's to encourage young traders to start their own business. So the 2 people on the right set up their fabrics business, and we're supplying them with an app called Marchetti. It's just gone live in the app stores. And it enables them to sell online and also to take mobile payments and get paid every day. So for me, everything we do is about people. The technology is useful, but technology is a commodity now. So it's really about how we use that technology to help those customers. We launched Marchetti about a month ago, and we've already got 36 markets on board, including Portobello, Leeds Market, and we're working with Borough Market. So what I really loved about Saturday was standing there watching this event going on with all the local people in Portobello Road. And so it isn't really about the payments and the transactions. And just to finish, the third industry we're working on, hence the relationship with the football guys in the back of the cab, is Fans Live, which is really to connect clubs and fans on a match day to improve the experience, help generate the club's increase the club's revenues, and just make it a better solution all round. So it could be things like buying tickets, signing up as a club member, ordering your drinks at half-time, looking at the team news as soon as it's announced. You can do all of that for your mobile phone. And I'd just like to finish with two things. One is to just show you some of the feedback from our customers. I mean, we know our customers personally. I've got cab drivers ringing me while I'm there or asking us questions. So what I'm very proud of is that we've done over 1 million transactions. We've only got 4 staff. So we've run this whole business with 4 people. We've largely funded it ourselves, so we have no VC investment. It's largely my money and family and friends. And we're helping thousands of small businesses every day. So if you do want to learn more about the business or read about it, we are doing a crowdfunding right now, so I couldn't miss the opportunity to let you know. Please, you can follow us there, and thank you very much for your time. I'd just like to pass you over to Brendan from fire.com.
Thanks, Derek. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brendan from Fire.com. We're a payments institution, and we provide digital accounts and cards to businesses to help them change the way they pay and get paid. So why do we exist? This is some of the overarching feedback that we've received from businesses around the traditional sort of banking services that are available to them as businesses today. So some of the common themes there are that it takes too long to open a business account. They'd like to get notifications when they receive payments into their business account, and they'd like to make and accept payments in multiple currencies. And finally, they'd like to integrate their systems, their internal systems, for automating payments and for reconciliation purposes with their banking transactions. So what do we do at Fire.com? Essentially, we connect our customers to a range of different payment services via the Fire.com platform. So at the core of what we provide are digital accounts and debit cards in euro and sterling. So businesses can set up multiple euro and sterling accounts within their Fire.com profile, each with an IBAN or an account number and sort code, and they can do that in real time. They can also order multiple debit cards that are linked to both a euro and sterling account that they can transact with, and if they're transacting in the Eurozone, it'll debit the linked euro account. If they're transacting in the UK, it'll debit the linked sterling account. And then the platform then integrates or connects into a range of different payment services that we give our customers access to. So there's the euro and sterling clearing systems that enables businesses to make and receive bank transfers, so via faster payments, SEPA or BACS. We're a principal member of MasterCard, so we issue our own debit cards that enable businesses to withdraw cash from ATMs or make card transactions. And we've also just recently joined open banking in the UK, having been authorised as a payment initiation and account information service provider under PSD2 that will ultimately enable our businesses or our customers to send payment requests to their customers via a link or a QR code that they'll then be able to pay via bank transfer. This will also enable online retailers as well to offer a pay via your bank account method to their customers. So finally, we provide businesses with access to the Fire.com platform via a number of interfaces. So we've got the desktop and mobile applications on iOS and Android. The mobile application obviously receives real-time notifications and alerts when activity changes on a business's account. They also use that to authorise transactions that they're making via the web application. So it really gives business owners and their finance teams control around their payments and visibility as well. We also provide or enable businesses to integrate with their Fire.com platform via our API. And there's sort of 3 core components or functionality pieces to that. There's a read piece that allows them to import transaction data, payee information, and other information from their banking system into their own internal system, which saves them a lot of sort of manual data entry time. There's a webhook capability, so that gives them real-time updates and alerts on their account activity. So if they receive a payment into a specific account from a specific customer for a certain amount, they can send a notification to their system to say, yeah, we've received that payment, and reconcile that. Then finally, there's a payment initiation capability that enables businesses to create batches of payments and payees to automate processes like their payroll or paying regular suppliers from their own systems, and they can send that to their Fire.com account and automate those processes. So I'm just going to quickly whip through a couple of use cases that we're seeing where we're helping businesses to change the way they pay and get paid. So the first is automating split payments. So this is for businesses who receive payments that need to be split out and paid to different parties based on rules or settings that they have internally. So an example here might be an airline that's receiving payments, a payment into an account for an airfare, but they're also selling complementary products like insurance or car hire as well. And so they'll receive the payment into their Fire.com account. They then send a notification to their system which recognises that needs to be split out to the third-party providers. And so they'll make those payments out send the payment request to their Fire.com account, authorise that via the mobile app, and the payments will be made. So we're also helping a number of lending and alternative finance businesses. So they will set up multiple accounts within their profile for each of their borrowers or clients that they can then disperse loan funds from to their clients and then receive payments into. So those accounts obviously have a unique IBAN or account number and sort code that they can accept payments into. And they'll also update their systems when they receive a payment from a specific borrower or customer, and be able to automate the sweeping of any of their profits out to an operating account. So this obviously speeds up the time to financing for them, and it also automates or reduces the time it takes for them to reconcile. So finally, Fire.com, so we're regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland and have been since 2010 as a payments institution. We were originally part of RealX Payments and spun out in 2015 when RealX was acquired by Global Payments. As I mentioned, we've just been reauthorised as a payments institution and a payment initiation and account information service provider under PSD2. We've now 25 staff across Dublin and the Rise building in Shoreditch. And we've approximately 7,000 customers that we're servicing across the UK and Ireland. There are my contact details. Get in touch if you have any questions.
Okay, thanks. What a great showcase for Rise London. We have got time for some questions. So if there's any coming up on Slido, and we have a mic, there's a question here. Let's take the Slido one first. One for StepLadder. Mortgage lenders usually insist that deposits are self-funded. Have they amended that requirement?
It's actually, the PRA guidelines are about affordability. So for those of you who have a credit background, there's a difference between a coverage test and a leverage test. The coverage test is the regulatory guideline around a stress test, for example, and month-on-month affordability. When it comes to the leverage level, and you can see it, for example, with Barclays' reintroduction of 100% mortgages when it's backed by essentially a family guarantee who has cash on balance, or Santander reintroducing 95% mortgages, or a bunch of building societies who advertise their 95% product, the actual leverage test and the source of deposit is a lender-by-lender credit decision. So for us, in order to be able to launch, we have an MVP of working with a mortgage broker who's comfortable with the underwriting standards that we bring to the table. On top of that, we have individual pilots in place with a number of different lenders who have looked through our own analysis of affordability and aligned that with their own interests. So the short answer is it's about the lenders, and it's also about the quality of the members that we have coming through the door.
Thank you. We'll just go to Finbourne and then we'll take the question in the second row. So Finbourne, how do you handle challenges such as legacy system migration and data standardisation?
This is a top quality question. Whoever asked this one, thank you very much. Right, two things. It takes us about 45 minutes to spin up an environment. Some of the existing competitor peers out there will take you between 9 and 18 months to spin up an environment. You have the ability to turn on Finbourne quickly and indeed turn it off if you don't like it. There will be no moment when you turn one thing off and us on. It will be smooth in that matter. It will be risk managed. Data standardization. there are tens of companies out there in the graveyard of fintech who have attempted to impose data standardization on the world's capital markets. We are not going to impose that upon you. What we're going to do is say, looking at all your data out there, are you aware that 85% of you guys out there define interest rate swap in this manner? We're going to allow the market to converge on a data standard and not impose a data standard, because that way bankruptcy lies.
Thanks. We'll go to the question in the second row and then we'll come back to fire.
Hi. Thanks, Matthew, for presenting the StepLadder project. And thanks for mentioning my country, Saudi Arabia, because you are right, we are using the same concept, which is called Jamia. But it is based on trust. So people who trust each other form like a Jamia to have a shared like fund. So my question is, number one, are you looking for funding?
Pardon me?
Are you looking for investors?
We actually are in the middle of the seed round right now that we're raising, so happy to have that conversation offline.
Yes, okay, good. Second is it only for mortgage?
That's a great question. That's certainly the use case. So I'd done my graduate school work on these in Brazil, where they're a high street banking product, which, by the way, when we talk about trust, it's fascinating to look at how much trust and social capital forms with a group after you're introduced to each other. I often draw the analogy to university housing. When you first move into your dorm, these people are strangers, but the admissions department has told you that all these people belong in the same building with you, and then you form the relationship, you engage as much as you want with that local community that forms as you go on that journey as a first year. Back to your core question, I think from our perspective, we believe that the applications here are very wide. We actually believe that we're at the vanguard of collaborative finance as a solution for an entire generation of people, but this is a use case where we can help people with a real personal psychological angst, and you can engage any group of 25 to 34-year-olds. We certainly ran dozens of focus groups, and overwhelmingly, if we can help them solve that problem, we're making a life cycle change for them.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you. Any other questions from the floor? Okay, we'll go to fire.com. What are the main USPs of fire.com compared to other challenger banks like Monzo and Revolut?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I guess the first thing is that we're really focused on the business market and providing services to businesses rather than individuals like Monzo, and I guess Revolut have really focused on that individual market as well. There's a few things around the platform. So we offer obviously multiple accounts with unique IBANs on the Euro side, or UK account number and sort code on the sterling side. We can also enable businesses to set up multiple users with different access levels to their profile, so that they can order, say, a card for a specific, for all of their sales team, say, and give them access to the platform. And then finally, sort of is the pricing model. So we offer a sort of a pay-as-you-transact pricing model, whereby you only pay when you use the service. There's no sort of ongoing subscription fees or monthly fees or setup costs that some of our other competitors are charging. So.
Thanks. Do you want to take the other question and then we'll finish with PAYSME? Are you looking to obtain a full banking license?
Yeah, no. So our sort of mantra, our focus is around payments and that sort of transactional banking pillar, I suppose, if you will. So we don't ever see ourselves going into extending credit, I guess, like some of our other competitors are too. So we're going to remain a EMI, e-money institution. Well, we're actually a payments institution and regulated in Europe at the moment, but we'll get our e-money license in the UK as well, with Brexit obviously causing some challenges there for us. So.
Absolutely. So PAYSME, you've got two, and then we finish. Fire, you'll have to take that on notice. So PAYSME, how many users do you have on your app, and why did you choose to use crowdfunding?
So in terms of users, we think of users as being small businesses as opposed to consumers. So although we have a consumer-facing app for each thing that we do, we don't really think of them as our customers. They're more the customers of the small businesses. So we have 11,500 cab drivers have registered on Cab app. For Marchetti, we only launched it this week, so we've got about 36 markets and probably about 40 traders on there, but we've not even started promoting it yet. And the third one, Fans Live, we're just developing that now. That won't be ready till Q1. So we're starting to discuss the needs with different football clubs on the requirements. So hopefully that answers that one. And in terms of crowdfunding, a couple of reasons. I was a hedge fund manager for 20 years, so I've run $2 billion of capital. What I found really strange was when I was pitching my business to the venture capital community, their kind of attitude was, payments is so old, that's yesterday's story. Or Halo will crush you, well, Halo have gone. Uber will crush you, well, they haven't. So I don't think they really understood what we did, because we do more than one thing. And therefore, we didn't fit in the neat little VC box that they tick. So we said, let's open it up to our customers, being cab drivers, market traders, and the general public. And that's really why we chose the crowdfunding route.
Fantastic, thanks. Well, let's have a big round of applause for the companies from Rise. Thanks very much for a great panel. Thanks.